from hymn number 620 in the hymnal. Jerusalem, my happy home, when shall I come to thee? When shall my sorrows have an end? Thy joys, when shall I see? Why do we travel? Either far or not so far. What was the reason you last left for someplace different? Was it only a vacation or more of a permanent departure? Was the journey a long one or just a few miles? I ask because while it may not have been apparent with only a single hearing of this morning's lessons, there's a whole lot of traveling going on in these readings. And while the destination may be the same or relatively the same in these readings, the reasons for the journeys differ. And so it is on all of those facets, the travelers, their agendas, and the destination, that I'd like to focus this morning. Partly because I think there's something important for us at Good Shepherd to hear, both as individual Christians and as the congregation as a whole, as we launch into 2020 in our year of visioning. While it might not have been the first written, I'll start with Jeremiah 31 and the prophet's historical context. We know about Jeremiah mostly from the book that bears his name, but included in that book are many historical details that help us to place him. And what's important for us this morning is the fact that over several decades, Jeremiah prophesied Jerusalem and Judah's downfall, a destruction that occurred in 587 BC, when the Babylonians conquered Jerusalem and led its elite into exile in Babylon. Then and there, for 3.5 generations, the exiles lived in relative peace and developed new ways of being Jewish, indeed encouraged to do so by Jeremiah. Then, when Cyrus the Mede and the Persians conquered the Babylonians, Cyrus and his successors sent the Jews back to Judah, Jerusalem, to rebuild. We know that the Babylonian Jews returned with joy and set about rebuilding their city. Central to that effort was the reconstruction of the temple, a project that took decades. And when it was done, Jerusalem was complete again. And it is at this point that scholars think that our reading this morning fits. Those who the Lord was going to bring from the land of the north and gather from the farthest parts of the earth, who would come with reaping and consolation, were not the exiles from Babylon. They were already there. These folks were the other Jews who'd fled the destruction and were waiting for Jerusalem to become the center of their faith again. And now they were being allowed to travel home. They knew what home had meant generations earlier, and God was calling them back to that memory. God would ease their passage, leading them by brooks of water in a straight path. Those who had sought refuge in other lands could return, and the young women would rejoice in the dance, and the young men and old would be merry. God would turn their mourning into joy and would comfort them and give them gladness for sorrow. This traveling story is about a joyous homecoming for those who'd been forced away and had not been allowed to return until their home had been rebuilt. The temple also provides the context for another set of travelers, pilgrims. Of course, it wasn't just the rebuilt temple that was the destination for pilgrims. From the time of David, the Jerusalem temple had been a pilgrimage site. It was to be where Jews made their way 3 times a year, according to the Torah: Passover, Pentecost, and Tabernacles, The pilgrim festivals drew folks from all over Judah who knew how lovely was God's dwelling place. It was so lovely and inviting that even birds knew to nest there. It was such an attractive place that the pilgrims found sufficient strength in their desire that they would go through desolate valleys to get there. And even though they knew they wouldn't take up residence, they were pilgrims after all, they believed that a day in God's courts was better than 1,000 elsewhere. The story behind Psalm 84 is of those who lived in distant cities and villages, fulfilling their responsibility regularly to travel to the most sacred and beautiful place they could imagine, and thus to receive the favor and honor that God would bestow on them. Jerusalem was the primary destination for the most easily recognized travelers in our readings this morning, the Magi, or the wise men from the east. And we know why they were traveling to Jerusalem, right? The text tells us it was to pay homage to the newborn king of the Jews. That's the surface answer, of course. But really, why did Matthew, alone of the gospel writers, tell us about these travelers from afar who decided to get on their camels and trek hundreds of miles across relatively uninhabited land to see a baby? Some scholars have suggested that they were simply diplomats from one government headed to the seat of power of another to make the proper appearance at a significant event. Much like the U.S. sending the First Lady or the Vice President to the inauguration or funeral of a foreign leader. And I can understand that interpretation. Other scholars have seen their visit, this is more probable in my view, in light of Matthew's larger universalist agenda, that is, bringing the world to Jesus, as well as using the three gifts to signal something about Jesus' role and mission. But I think there's still yet another reading. Magi were folk who had their feet in two different realms. They were astrologers, the astronomers of their day, which explains their interest in the heavens. But they were also dream interpreters, and according to some, practitioners of magical arts. In other words, they were interested in the intersection between the known world and the other, in that thin space where spirituality and factuality meet. So the star was an invitation to the wise men. Go, find out what it means. And the curious Magi did just that. They traveled to Jerusalem and ultimately to Bethlehem to find an answer to a supernaturally posed question. Then, at the urging of another message from the other world, that warning dream, they took an alternate route home. We have to assume transformed in some way by their journey. 3 stories, 3 sets of travelers, 3 sets of reasons for traveling. We have folks returning home, folks on a pilgrimage, folks on a quest. We have folks making a permanent move, folks on a semi-annual trip, folks on a once-in-a-lifetime transformative trip. Given our biblical heritage, it's no surprise that in our stories, all are focused on one destination, Jerusalem. Yet, as I suggested at the beginning, I think there's more here than a simple observation about our readings this morning. Among the several classical ways of interpreting Scripture beyond the literal is the allegorical and its counterpart, mystical. That is, what we read in Scripture points us to realities beyond the text's immediate meaning. In simple terms, what I'd like to suggest then is that Jerusalem, in our readings this morning, can stand in for spiritual home. And with that as the destination, we can see our travelers in a different light. Those returnees in Jeremiah, having been thrust away from their home because of difficulties, are welcomed back. The pilgrims of Psalm 84 know that their home can always be visited, even though they may not always be able to dwell in the house all the time. And the Magi, drawn by the possibility of earth and heaven meeting in some new way, found something transformative that became part of them as they returned to the east. I see raised here a set of questions for us at Good Shepherd to consider as the people who travel to this Jerusalem do so for any number of reasons. For example, how do we welcome back those who've been pushed away from their spiritual center? We are surrounded by hurting people, whether they've been abused physically or emotionally by spiritual leaders or institutions, or they've been excluded because of race, gender, or sexual orientation. And here this morning we remember especially our Methodist brothers and sisters who are reeling from the news that their denomination will split over questions of inclusion. People who've been hurt and excluded because they have not been allowed to question theology or doctrine. If we humbly assume a role of being Jerusalem, my happy home, as our hymn 620 puts it, can we provide an answer to their questions? When shall my sorrows have an end? Thy joys when shall I see? Can we be a welcoming place for them? Other kinds of people intersect with the church on various, perhaps special occasions. Certainly we've all heard of Christmas and Easter Christians. But there are also those who only come when they visit family, or those who return on anniversaries of significant events in their lives, or even those who are only able to be here occasionally because work or family obligations prevent more regular attendance. All of them are making, in a way, a pilgrimage to this Jerusalem that has been important to them. How do we welcome them back? Validate their longing without some kind of ulterior motive. That is, the pilgrims were able to worship even when they weren't at the temple. So how do we encourage continued engagement with God, even if it is not here at this place? And then we have visitors who are prompted by some internal longing, some spiritual prompting, for which they have no good explanation. We have families coming through the doors who are looking for a place where children can be given some grounding that will help them negotiate the challenges of the world they are inheriting. All of them come following their own stars. How do we remove barriers that may exist so that the true light of Jesus can shine into their dark places? People travel to this Jerusalem for many reasons. Likewise, people have dwelt in this Jerusalem for many years, and for many reasons some of us may not understand, since they aren't our reasons. But we all have a desire and longing for the courts of the Lord. So in the words of another hymn, number 1 in the Green Songbook, let us build a house where love can dwell and all can safely live. A place where saints and children tell how hearts learn